So this past weekend, I was in Portland, Oregon, covering the ICE protests by Antifa. And there was a group of young men, high school kids, I came to find out, from Oregon City. And they completely disarmed Antifa, basically by chanting USA and having a presence at what is otherwise a wildly out of control, far left extremist environment. USA, USA. Let's watch it. Let's get into it. Here we go. So I am across the street. I am behind the street for this one. Watching from across the street, there's a group of both Antifa and Antifa protesters. And that's what was wild about this scene, is that you had people pushing back on Antifa. There'd been, throughout the evening, there'd been a handful of people. One dude in a Trump, 45, 47 hat. He had his wife with him. Another big white dude who was probably 6'2", 265, running around with a bullhorn. There was a guy in army kind of gear, not army tactical gear, but just indicated he was army. So you had a handful of random people, one or two people that are kind of circulating around, and they'd skirmish with Antifa, yelling. And then you had guys like David Medina, I'm not sure how you pronounce his last name. And I watched him argue and then have a bro hug with one of the Antifa members because he was literally talking some common sense. There was a lady talking, that was reading from the Bible on right in front of the facility, and she was talking with somebody else. So you had a whole bunch of people pushing back throughout the evening, and really nothing serious was going on because that kind of disarmed things, in my opinion. And then this whole thing happened, which was pretty funny. Here's what I would say. Okay. So when that happened, the entire rest of the crowd just crickets, absolute crickets. The folks standing to the left over here, the folks standing off to the left over here, there was a whole bunch of Antifa members, and they literally just started looking at this crowd. We're going to watch one more video, but I believe this kid here in the cowboy hat is the ringleader. And I don't know. You know what I mean? I watched these kids. There's a handful of them. I thought maybe there were 6, maybe there was 3, maybe there were 6, but they came in with such energy, with such high level energy, young, dumb, and full of confidence. You know that saying? They had confidence for days. And this kid here was not as tall as some of the other people, cowboy hat, and I believe he was driving a big white truck. Because when they left, it was like, oh, that's gotta be that kid. I wonder where they're from. So I kind of did the research later, and Oregon City is where they were from. And they were driving a big stock or maybe a slightly lifted white rig that was probably a diesel. I was far enough away where I couldn't quite tell. And you got a whole bunch of people standing in front of you because at these rallies, you got a bunch of just absolute knuckleheads out in the street screaming, F you, ICE! Just absolute mayhem. But here's another really good from Freedom News TV. Let's watch this one. These kids are young. They are young. They are young, and they're going up against paid professional agitators. And all they basically did, and you've got other folks here as well that are obviously conservative. We are Charlie Kirk. You got a flag here. All these people combined basically silenced Antifa for a good portion of that time period. There was no coming back from this. Antifa was just they were silenced. They were silenced. It was wild to watch, because at these rallies, at these protests, at these extremely violent at time protests by the far left extremists, they don't typically encounter any major pushback. They just don't, because there's not enough people willing, confident to go out there and do it until you get some numbers. And I believe these boys gave them the numbers that they need to basically embolden them to do this kind of thing. Let's keep going.
USA! 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 USA!
Yeah, it's wild.
USA! 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 USA!
That was a beatdown, folks. We're going to talk about Nick in a little bit. Yeah, there he is, right there. Dude who got arrested, right?
Love you! Yeah! Thank you, guys!
Thank you for your dedication, hard work. We appreciate you. This is what's pretty normal. This is what's, I'll go this one, this little one. This is what's pretty normal. I shot all this footage, and something that we've got that's kind of new is we've got the ICE officers up here, and normally they're up on this corner up over here. And this is a new approach. They're a little bit closer to the crowd. But notice that we've got, I mean, nothing says protest like wearing a Cookie Monster suit, right? I mean, that's just what we're doing. This is, here's what's normal from this crowd. This is where they come out. Star Wars music. So they're going to bring a vehicle out with people in it. Just absolutely stupid.
Looks dangerous, guys. Oh my God. That's the street.
So this is standard stuff. Hours of this. So they've got a vehicle here. They've got people coming in or out. It was never really clear. They've got a whole bunch of the Fed standing here. The Portland police are north and west on Kitty Corner. There's 3 or 4 of them typically kind of stacked up there. I did see one of the officers, a young gentleman up over in this area telling people to get off the street, because this is a traffic area. This is a public street, and this has been blocked off for months, for 100 and something days. Let's finish out this little segment here. Shh. So now all of a sudden we rush over. Oh, what's going on? What am I going to miss out on? Oh, this is the greatest thing ever. Oh, look. Highlight of the evening was by far the USA chants. And, has that been happening on a regular basis? Not that I've heard. And a lot of people there are people that live in the area that they go to the spaghetti factory, which is just literally it's within the same block. right? And I had numerous people come up to me after they'd had dinner and drinks. A couple of ladies had a lot of drinks, and they were just checking out what was going on. Hey, what's going on here? And you're like, well, that's the federal ICE facility, and that's Antifa, and this is a bunch of people recording what's going on, and the police are way over there in the corner, and they might do something if it's life or death, but that's literally the extent of it. And so, you've got all these narratives of Portland is on fire. No, but this area of Portland is definitely a hot zone. We're looking, most of that footage, you're looking at the ICE facility. Off to the left is some kind of light rail bus, something or other station. And they've got some kind of voodoo witch shrine thing in a circle. They got another small one. So you got a couple of witchy voodoo Wiccan things going on. And then to the left of that, as you are looking east, back out across the Willamette River, to the left of that, you've got multiple set up canopies where Antifa has all their stuff. They've got all their stuff just stocked up right there. City comes and cleans it out every now and then because, that whole ADA thing that Portland lost a lawsuit because people can't get their wheelchairs down a public street because Antifa is taking up the sidewalk. Got that whole kind of thing going on. But watching the USA chants was just epic from the standpoint of if you're back far enough where I was, you're able to kind of see the overall impact, and everybody else just stopped. They stopped in their tracks like, oh my gosh, what is going on here? We're chanting USA? These folks are chanting USA? And I don't know if it was because there was, a lot of the media has said it's huge crowds. It was maybe a dozen people, maybe 15 people. You could see in the video, it was not a huge crowd. So from that standpoint, any other high school kids want to go? You guys want to rotate in on a regular basis, get this going? I think you could really be onto something. Just consistently go up against Antifa and just chant USA, because it just takes the wind out of their sails, because they are not used to coming up against any kind of real opposition. And these boys, the boys from Oregon City, I had 2-3 people comment on the energy that the high school kids had. They literally, I watched them run across the street and fist bump a few of the police officers. I'm like, what in the F is going on here? But yeah, I've had 2 high school kids and they do some stuff at times. And if they're patriots, hey, I'm going to go fist bump the cop. And I literally was standing right in front of them because I figured, not a bad place to be right by the cops, because, at the end of the day, something really goes sideways, even though the Portland Police Bureau has completely abdicated their responsibility towards public safety. If it's only life or death, they will engage. But other than that, that's why, so I'm standing by them. You could see the impact the whole USA had, and then other, debates that were going on by conservative folks that were literally just engaging. They weren't there. There's the one guy with the bullhorn that was big, wearing a white T-shirt. He was, I would say, aggressively giving his opinion on the bullhorn. There was another black dude from Antifa who was yelling at the press, hey, you guys are giving out fake news. If you're fake news, we need you to move over here. And he's an Antifa member, and you're like, I ain't moving anywhere. You're a joker. But he had this big kind of like square boombox speaker, and he would just play some music real loud because that was his thing. Maybe George Soros is paying him. Hey, get out there, yell at the press, and play your boombox real loud. That's your job. He's like, okay, all right, I got a tip. It's insanity. It is insanity at these events. At the end of the day, you're Antifa and you are screaming at the feds to quit their job. They're not going to quit their job. They're not going to go away. ICE is a valuable law enforcement tool that aids in general public safety. It's just people in Oregon and people in Portland in particular don't really understand how all that works because they are mentally disabled from an ideologically standpoint. They are mentally disabled. They're like, it's not that bad. And you're like, okay, 108 days and the skirmishes that do happen are violent. And they're not allowing basic law enforcement to toss criminal illegals from their environment, from their midst, because, Antifa is far left and they want to abolish judicial system, judges, police officers, no borders, all that absolute insanity. So these guys, standing there doing this whole thing, it's like, where's that going to go? What are you going to get from this? And the answer is nothing. They get nothing. I mean, realistically, what's the end goal here? Is ICE going to leave? No. Are they going to quit their jobs? Oh, I guess Antifa told me quit my job 44 straight times. I guess I got to quit. No, that's not happening. So the whole thing is just absolutely insane. So when a group of high school kids, along with some other conservative adults, actually push back just a little bit by chanting USA, you know what I mean? It's like, this could happen every single night and it would have the same impact from the standpoint of it just completely deflates Antifa because they don't know what to do. They're like, what is going on? Whose streets are streets, right? Just some numbnut sayings, just some ideologically just stupid. Quit your job. Oh, okay. I'll quit my job. I'll quit my job now. ICE is not doing that, right? ICE is not doing that. So I was kind of in a watching. I didn't take a ton of footage. I didn't shoot a live stream because this was my first night at the protest. I will go back down. But when you are talking to people, you can't listen and learn. And that's what I was there for this evening. Could have talked to some of the other conservative podcasters, but bottom line is I want to be there to take in as much as I can so I can report it back to you. Whether I have the footage or not of the epic clips, I don't really care because I want to be able to say, hey, I saw it. This is what I saw. This is what I heard. This is what I felt. Now, right before that, you had this whole thing. Conservative media personality reports assault at Portland protest, slams police as Antifa. Portland Police Chief Bob Day has really bent the knee. I mean, he has really gone down this, okay, we're not getting involved kind of thing. And to the point where it's a free-for-all. And you've had this kind of thing happen. Katie Davis Court she got popped in the eye, big shiner. You've had that happen. And then you had this happen. You had Nick Sorter has been cleared from charges after Portland protests. They arrested him, and I never was able to figure out, okay, based on what? What did they arrest him for? Let's watch the video on this. This is pretty interesting, and this just came out. So, full screen unavailable. Perfect. We're just going to watch it.
I mean, I don't know how you'd be able to carry on your day as somebody that lives in this building over here in particular, but it's something that needs national media attention, and I'm glad it's finally getting it.
And so what happened over the past couple of days when you were involved with law enforcement?
So I don't know how many times you've tried walking, over in that area late at night with a camera. They don't like it. They don't particularly like it. They're not they don't take too kindly to cameras, and they're definitely not too.
What he's pointing to is in front of the building and out in front of the Antifa tents, that whole kind of section. That's their turf, right? And that's what makes the USA Chants so entertaining and effective, is that they went toe-to-toe with Antifa on their turf right in front and just USA, USA. There was a bunch of other chants that I couldn't work out, and those were going on, and I was trying to figure out what are we doing here? But what Nick is describing is Antifa turf, and they don't like you filming at all. They do not like you filming. And anybody filming or anybody live streaming is fair game. And if you know the police aren't going to do anything, and if you're an older dude like myself, I'm not going to have my camera out a whole ton, right? Because live to fight another day, right? I'm just not going to get, hey, so what'd you think? Kind of deal. Plus, when you're interviewing people and when you're talking to people, you're not aware of your surroundings. And these are head on a swivel type settings. They really are. Because you don't know what kind of weapons a man in blue said they might have in their canopies underneath their food supplies. Interesting, right? Yeah. Let's keep going, Nick.
To people filming them after they've been, say, pepper sprayed or maced or thrown on the ground by ICE or CBP, somebody from DHS, whatever it is. And that seemed to create the problem the other night because they don't like the fact that after they're on the ground and after they'd just been hit by tear gas, they were very much upset by the fact that I was sitting there recording that happening. And that seemed to set them off. I attempted to walk back to my car because my camera battery was dying. My car was parked over at the, I won't say exactly where, but that way down the road at the restaurant. And I tried walking down there. They blocked my path. I gave multiple warnings. So it's all on video. It's all posted on my X as well as Fox News' page and everything like that. They were blocking my path. I kept saying, "Stop! I'm going to walk this way. I'm walking this way. Walking this way." They didn't like that. They ended up swinging at me, punched me in the face, broke my camera, and then threw me in the pit over there, the recessed flower bed. And I ended up, I walked around a little bit more and then I went back to Portland Police. I went back to that group over there thinking, okay, that would be, a safe place to go after that encounter. And
So he's talking about where I kind of hung out a fair amount. Portland Police stands diagonally to the north and west, where you've got a viewpoint. You can see what's going on, but you're not involved. All the actions are on the other side of the street, where we saw the chanting going on.
He ended up, one of the sergeants came up, pointed and said, "Cuff him." And that's when I was arrested. My assailant was never arrested in that situation. That they're still over there under the in that homeless camp over there.
And what was going through your mind when you were being told, or when you were told that you were being handcuffed?
There were two things that went through my mind, neither of them being I am actually under arrest. The first one was that they were acting like they were arresting me to get me out of the area, and they were going to drop me down the street. That's what it sounded like was happening at first. Or secondly, it was mistaken identity. It took me a while to actually accept the fact that they were there for me. The cops that actually arrested me, they had no idea. It took them over an hour to figure out what the charges were. We pulled over on the side of the road near the jail downtown, and that to me makes me think that this was from on high, and they just said, "Get that guy. The guy's involved in something. Arrest him. We'll figure it out later." That's what that sounds like to me. Because I've watched all this stuff just like you have, and you're like, "Now, what did he get arrested for?" Because I've seen the video, and I'm like, I don't see much in there that probably warrants a disorderly conduct. I'm not seeing that. That doesn't make any sense. And yet somebody said to Portland Police, to a commanding officer, "Let's get him." Somebody said that. Why did they say that? Yeah. Throw enough against the wall, see if something sticks. If it doesn't, we got nothing. Okay. All right. We sent the message. Conservative influencers, we don't want you here. We don't want you here. So when USA starts breaking out in the street, just kind of that much sweeter, right? And that's why they're talking to Nick up top. Because they couldn't write on the report what the charges were because they had no idea. So we waited for over an hour. I got a call from the lieutenant. Lieutenant told them to step out of the vehicle so that I couldn't hear what they were talking about. Came back in the car, didn't say anything. got another call from that same lieutenant, got out of the vehicle. They started talking down the street, so I couldn't hear. Came back and said it's going to be, they said DISCON 2, which means disorderly conduct 2. And they wrote that on the charge sheet, but they still at that point didn't know why I was being charged with disorderly conduct. So somebody from higher up demanded the arrest, and they pointed at me and told the cops that were on the street to make that arrest.
And were you read your rights?
No.
We're not read.
Interesting.
Wow. Okay. So, why are you back out here tonight?
Well, I got court now, so I'm not going to leave Portland anytime soon. I gotta go to court. Gotta fight it. There will be no plea deal. It will be we'll fight it to the very end. I mean, because it's not.
Yeah, plea deal for what? What are you playing to? What'd they say you did? That's where I've been like, what are we grabbing from these videos? What exactly are we saying happened? I don't think we are, right? I mean, I haven't seen anything.
They're not legitimate charges. I mean, you come out here every single night and you see what's happening on the street out here, and you're going to say that I am the one that's disorderly? I'm the one that's going to be...
yes, it's Portland.
What are these? What do you call this? What do you call blocking the roads? What do you call 3 o'clock in the morning with the megaphones? What do you call setting things?
Social activism. And fully supported by the governor, city council, mayor, police chief, police force, effectively.
On fire. Is none of that disorderly conduct?
Oh, no. It's not. It's not. Finally, ICE director says Portland facility faces violence with little help from police, from local police. We know that's a known thing. It's a known thing because somehow in Portland's twisted mind, they believe that tossing criminal illegals from your presence, from your community, is unethical. And you're left with, why? It's wild, right? It's wild. Federal immigration officials say their Portland, Oregon facilities come under nightly attack with little help from local police because of political directives from city leaders. Perfect. That's perfect. That is amazing. And we know that to be true. Now, Pam Bondi is taking a little look-see. Let's take a little peek-see at Portland Police Bureau. We'll see where that goes. She's requested all the cam footage and all this stuff. What will happen from that? Well, this is all political. It's just a political back and forth. But I would highly encourage any conservative kids in high school, kids in college, and I think some of this is pushback from the whole Charlie Kirk thing. Hey, you killed one of ours, and he was a guy that had his opinion out there. Let's go to the Antifa ICE protest and let's make our voice known. If more conservative voices did that and didn't have to fear being accosted, like has happened to these folks just recently that we just talked about, it would be a fair fight. It would be a fair fight. And you know what? Antifa would lose interest because they wouldn't be able to dominate the whole thing. And they're losers anyway, right? They are society's absolute losers. And how many of these guys are paid? Majority of them? Most of them? And they're not good people. They're bad people. They're not going to have the ability to keep going. I'm going to fight the good fight. You're not fighting the good fight. You're fighting the bad fight. So, love to see more high schoolers do this. Love to see more college kids, young adults. Get out there, make your voice heard. Because I'll have podcasts for days. All right. Thanks so much for being here. I'd love to have you subscribe, do all that good stuff. And I'll see you on the next one. Thanks for watching. Bye for now.